What's up, everybody? Yellow. So I have some kind of bad news. I'm really sorry to say this, but our giveaway cube here, it just turned out too nice. It's just a little too nice. I don't think I can give it away. No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that. That's terrible. But it did come out beautiful. This is future me. You're gonna cut to the video in a second of the whole process of magnetizing and UV coating and all of that. But this is future me saying, no, we're definitely giving it away. This cube came out freaking amazing. The UV coating is beautiful. This is like a little, you can kind of see a little sneak preview of what's to come in the video. We're going to make this happen. I'm going to show you everything you need to know how to UV coat. I'm also going to explain the magnetization process because I went over that, somewhat skimmed over that. So check it out right here in this video. We're going to magnetize, UV coat, and give this cube away. Tomorrow is the giveaway, Friday the 23rd. So sorry, I had to check that one, but Friday the 23rd is the giveaway. So like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't already, and anyone that has already, thank you for the support and for participating. I see you guys in there, and I try to communicate and stay in touch with everyone. So good luck, everyone. Peace. What's up, everybody? Yellow. So welcome to the final video from our first customization / DIY video. And giveaway, I should say. So I finally received our gel coat, our UV coating for the cube. So I'm going to proceed to UV coat this bad boy. This is the Maylong 3x3 we've been working with. And so I have to say, I said the magnets were a little strong when I first put them in, and I'm starting to get used to it. I mean, I pick it up just about once a day and just feel what it feels like. And yeah, I'm digging it. I really do like it. I think with the added thickness and a little bit of weight that the UV coating is going to add, I think it's going to balance out just perfect. So yeah, let's get into it. Essentially, and I want to go over quickly what we've done so far, just to recap. So what we've done to this cube is we took the pieces apart, every single piece, and hopefully you can see it, we glued magnets into each piece. You can see one on each side. And all you do is you take all of your pieces apart and you take an edge and a corner piece of the same color. That's what matters, really. Just take a piece of the same color, put them together, and put the magnets in. Keep your magnet stick going the same way the whole time. A lot of people put a piece of paper in one end so you know what the polarity of the stick going the whole time. But what you do is you just keep taking magnets off the same end, and if you keep putting them in and just magnetizing the next set of pieces off that same end, it'll all work out just fine. So essentially, yeah, you just take your edge piece and your corner piece that match up, really nicely when you lay them out. Put your pieces in with the glue, let them sit. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's a little more time consuming than you'd think, and you definitely want to put your first magnet in the edge piece, let it fully dry, and then put your second magnet in the corner piece, because it's a lot. And if the magnets get attracted to each other and get pulled out, it can be a huge mess, and you can get glue all over your cube. And it's just following everyone's tutorials where they put the edge magnet in, and then they use a helper magnet to hold it in place. They let that dry, and then they take the helper magnet and put that in the corner piece. That's the best way to do it. And give it a full hour or more to dry, especially using the cubicle glue. It takes a while to dry, but I will say it's very cool because it does have that foam layer that you can see. And I have to believe that they're right when they say that creates a shock absorbent layer around the magnet, so you don't get loose magnets. So yeah, that's where we're at. We've magnetized the cube. I think it came out really nice. I'm really happy with the job I did. I'm really excited for someone to get this cube. I mean, you can see it really turns fast and nice, and this is way nicer than any Maylong I've ever felt. Yeah, you can see I just loosened it up a ton to take the piece out, but magnets are about perfect strength, I think, because you can overshoot it if you want, but if you just give it a nice flick, it's perfect. So anyways, let's get to UV coating. I had a ton of people ask me about, let's do another UV coating tutorial, really in depth. So I'm going to go through this. I feel like I've given you kind of choppy pieces in the past, a piece at a time. And so I'm really going to go through the whole process with you. So what you need is you need your gel coat. You need essentially, I cut up cardboard to insert between the pieces. And I don't know if you can see, but I use very thin cardboard. This is not like cardboard from a cardboard box. This is cardboard from like a cardboard, like a really thin cube box, or like just something like a really, like no thicker than a credit card essentially. And I do that because when you put the cardboard in between the pieces, if they're too thick, it starts to push your cube out like this. You can imagine when you get cardboard pieces in between every single piece, it starts to flex. Oops, the cardboard fell inside. But it starts to flex the cube out. And when you're trying to put on a nice level layer of gel coat, it's really bad to have an unlevel surface like that. So I found by using really thin cardboard, it keeps your cube really nice and flat and level, and you don't have any problems with it dripping or running or anything. So that's like my first biggest tip I can say is just cut up, and I have a bunch of these, cut up a bunch of very small cardboard pieces that can just be inserted in between the edges and the corners here. And that's really all you do. You just want it to make sure that there's no, even if the gel coat gets in there, it's going to get on that cardboard piece and not on the inside of the cube. So when you pull that cardboard out, it'll make sure that there's nothing in there. And that's the most important thing. So we're going to go ahead and really essentially what you should do first. So what else you need is alcohol. Just rubbing alcohol. 70 would be fine, but I use 91%. It's just what I have. And you just want to put a little bit on your paper towel. It doesn't need to be a ton. And you're just going to want to wipe down the whole cube. This is going to take any kind of like dirt and like just any kind of funky dust or anything off of the cube, and really make sure that that it's kind of like not sterile but clean enough. One second. Just need one more paper towel here. That's the other nice thing about the higher end or higher proof alcohol is it evaporates really fast as opposed to staying wet. I guess that's the biggest advantage to the 91 or 99%, is that it evaporates nice and quickly on you. And we want to essentially try and get all your fingerprints. So I'm going to try and kind of like wrap the cube and really wipe it. Because if it's going to happen, and you're going to get fingerprints out, but if you can try and avoid it, that's best. So now we have our cube nice and clean. Again, I'm going to barely touch it just on the edges and corners just to slip our cardboard pieces in. And you're just going to slide. A lot of times what I do is because it can be as the cube, if you have your cube too tight, or if you're using too thick of cardboard, you kind of want to come in from this bottom, from the bottom where like the pieces kind of like scallop together right there. It lets the cardboard slide in easy, and then you kind of come up from the bottom. That's the best way I can tell you. Like once you get more pieces in, it gets harder and harder to do that. And again, I realize I'm touching the cube on one side, but I can re-wipe that. It's really the side you're working on that you obviously don't want to mess with. All the rest can be re-cleaned. So I would say you just need 8 pieces, but that's not true. You need 8 for between the edges and the corners. And then you need another 4 pieces for the center. So this is where, as you can see, now I have 1 between every edge and corner piece. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert, this is again why the thin cardboard is so important, but I'm going to insert one in just kind of a funky angle, but right there. So that's going to keep, and I'm going to do that for each side of my center cap. So that's going to keep your center cap clean in between the pieces. It's going to keep it from getting down inside the cube. And honestly, what I usually do is I do 3 sides. So I have a way to brush it on, and at the last minute I'll slide that last cardboard in there. I found that just to be my little technique. Everyone will have a different way to do it. Some people are more systematic. Some people I have a little bit more methodical approach that I've kind of thought through just because I've done this a lot. Oh, and one thing too that I didn't point out is I bring out a oh god, lint roller and do my jacket, do the whole table. I even took a water bottle and sprayed the whole room so it would hopefully bind to any dust particles and make it fall. I have a dog and a cat, and so it's natural that you're going to get hair on things, but you don't have to have hair on you while you're doing it. So, and it's a bummer when you're, doing a really good job and it's just kind of all of a sudden you find a hair in there and you're like, oh man, I got to redo that one. And this stuff, once it sets, it's really hard to change or to, fix or manipulate after that. So you really want to do it right the first time. See, I could even see a little piece of lint. I mean, you want to be pretty anal about this part. I mean, honestly, like any little piece of lint or dust that you see, get it off. Like it's gonna show up when you brush it on, and it's gonna magnify it because it's gonna look like this big bump where it looks like nothing usually. So I usually do one last, like, actually I'll just take my same rag that I wiped down before, and I'll just do a quick. And I know I'm a little bit anal about all this, but like I feel like it pays off. And again, sorry for the kind of low lighting, but I'm trying to keep the lighting down while I do the UV coating because you don't want it to start curing prematurely. So now we want to take our gel coat. This is a brand new bottle, so it's gonna be very full. So you're gonna want to wipe it off on the edge a bit. And then you're just gonna want to go in on the pieces. So just like you would, I don't know, brush someone's nails or paint someone's nails. Just want to put on a nice, somewhat level coat from edge to edge. And this is what's nice about this stuff, is it's self-leveling. So it doesn't look perfect right now. I don't really want to pick it up to show you, but there's a few brush strokes and whatnot, but over the course of the next 5 to 10 minutes, that's all going to go away and flatten out. So I'm just going to keep going so I can finish this side. I apologize for no like time lapse. But you can get kind of an idea of how long the process will take and everything, what it'll entail. This will be a very true to life video. And I've had this question quite a bit. Do I want to do a really thick coat and whatnot? And you want to do a thick enough coat so it has enough to self-level. If you put so little on that there's like dips and valleys, then it's going to have a hard time filling that. So don't be scared to put enough on to cover it. But at the same time, you don't want it to be so thick that you're going to add 10 grams to the weight of your cube. And I know that can kind of sound contradictory, but it's something you just kind of have to play with. And like I said, you can tell when the piece is covered. I mean, when the whole thing is covered and there's just a little bit of excess, that's kind of perfect because, like I said, that'll self-level, that will all even out. And yeah, we're already almost done with this first side. So as much as I made a big deal about, how long it would take me or whatever, it's actually almost done. And you don't need to have any kind of like background in like cosmetology or like nails or anything. I just happened to have a friend who was a nail technician and let me use some of her equipment, and that's how I originally got started. And now I just do it. I don't even use actual nail equipment. I use a blacklight flashlight and I use an LED flashlight, and that's what I use to cure. And it honestly works just fine. So it shows you that all of that extra stuff they sell you is kind of all extra. I mean, again, I had to buy the flashlight, so it's not like it was free, but it's just something I had laying around. Okay, now wait, I think we have all of the pieces done besides the center cap. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the center cap and then put my last cardboard piece in. And the center cap is the one where you kind of gotta go slow and go, if you really want to get all the edges covered, you just want to go a little bit slower. And this is why I left that one piece of cardboard out, is because I kind of will wipe across the two pieces with the center and that piece, and then I'll slide the cardboard in right now, and that will keep them from binding. And that usually works pretty well. Okay, so here we'll kind of take a look here. You can see it's actually looking pretty good. I don't know if you can quite tell yet, but the fact that there's no ripples and weird things going on is a good sign. Get this set back up. Sorry about that. Okay, so this first side is looking pretty good. And it's so tempting to want to flashlight it or something. Oh, Kitty, no, not today. It's so tempting to want to like take a flashlight or something to look at it and see how it's doing, but you kind of just have to trust that you put on enough. You put on enough to cover it. It's self-leveling right now. Again, you don't want to add extra light or heat at this point, because that will start the curing process. You want to keep the lights pretty low. I'm even going to lower the lights more, actually. And get my flashlights. So again, all I use, I don't use, in the first videos you'll see a nail lamp, which is totally fine. If you have that resource, totally use it. I don't anymore. Like I said, I was borrowing a nail lamp from a nail technician that I knew, and I just kind of was like, well, it's a UV LED light. This is UV, this is a black light flashlight, and this is LED. So I think this actually is UV and LED, but I just to be safe, I use both. Sorry, Kitty, no. But yeah, so we're just gonna kind of sit. This is where I'm gonna pause the video and let some time go by. This is exactly what you don't want. This is why, like, spray the air, be overcautious with the lint roller, because you don't want hairs falling into it at this point, because this is where it's not curing yet, but it's self-leveling, and if anything got into it at this point, I'd have to go in there and rebrush it and whatnot, and it's like already almost perfect, and it's only been like a couple minutes, so you really don't want to mess with it. If you give it another even just 5 minutes, it'll be ready. So I'm gonna do just that, and I'll check back in. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep you guys waiting, so see you soon. What's up, everybody? Sorry about the video format change. My camera died mid-video, so that seems to be a theme, because also my flashlight died. I had a few things, so I had to, over that little break where we were letting our gel coat self-level, yeah, I had to do some changes. So sorry for the update or the change, but hopefully it won't be too weird. My editor seems to cut off my face out of most videos anyways, so I'm still getting the hang of all that. But so getting back to our UV coating here, so our cube, first of all, I want to say, like I said, my batteries on my flashlight died. That's a huge reason right there, just to get the nail lamp. If you're going to be serious about this, the nail lamp plugs right into the wall. You're not going to have to worry about batteries dying. I was trying to start the first side just to seeing how the flashlight worked, and it was so dull. So yeah, now we can go ahead. Our whole side looks perfectly level. There's not one blemish. There's not anything going on. I can real quick kind of show you. It looks really nice, but I don't want to mess up the nice level surface. So now what we're gonna do is I take a UV LED flashlight. It's kind of a black light flashlight. And then I also take just a regular LED flashlight, because essentially what the lamps, the nail lamps are, is they're UV LED lamps. So I'm just trying to replicate that process. I don't know if the second LED light's necessary, but it doesn't hurt. Same with time. So what I usually do is set like a minute timer, and then, because it's the bottle says 30 seconds to cure, but again, extra time is not going to hurt it. It's just going to make sure it's nice and solid and firm and glassy. So let's go ahead and start our process here. So this is our black light, and here's our LED. So one thing that I usually actually do that I forgot to do for this one was I'll usually get a small box and line it in tin foil. That's more for when I'm using the nail lamp, but it really helps actually to also keep debris from free floating in the air, like a piece of lint that might just fall onto the surface of your cube. That's one of those things where between your hands being over top of it and then the box being all around it, there's a pretty limited room for something to fall onto it or whatever. But this is just kind of out in the open, and so for the next sides I'll actually be getting a box and doing that. I have some that I pre-made already. I just forgot to grab it, but that's what I would recommend, is get a little box and put the cube in it, and like I said, it'll keep it nice and contained and just lower that room for error is essentially what it is. Yeah, there's no reason to make this any harder than it needs to be. Sorry if you can, that's my cat chirping. She can see the reflection off the UV coating on the light on the ceiling. I mean, that must mean that the UV coating is doing its job, or it's hardening up, because she's seeing it like a glassy reflection on the ceiling. All right. Let's see. It's been over 30 seconds for sure. So this is where you're kind of just doing a little extra, maybe just because you feel like it, but I usually kind of just go around. This is where too, because I don't have the nail lamp, I can kind of really target in on specific pieces. I can go from like piece to piece and make sure it really gets really bright, really a lot of attention. And it helps you, if you go piece to piece like that, it lets you see how your coat looks. Like I can see that there's very little imperfections. Like I can see one piece of lint that I think I can just remove with the screwdriver or something. But yeah, it lets you really see the job you did, because like I said, when you're self-leveling it, all you're thinking is, man, I really want to put the light on it so I can see if it looks good. And you kind of just have to trust that it's going to self-level and it will look right. And again, you'll get the feel for it. Like I just know now, if I put a little gob on there and then I wipe it on, even if there's brush strokes, like a minute later, they're all going to be leveled. I had to redo a corner piece. There was a piece, like a little tiny piece of lint that fell, and I didn't like it. So I actually wiped that whole piece clean. And that's the nice thing about this, is that until you've cured it, you can still manipulate it and whatnot, but you don't have too long. If your light is too bright, or if your heat is too high in your house, the gel coat will start to cure, and it'll be really hard to manipulate after that. So yeah, that's that. Like I was able to clean that piece off, and it looks perfect to me. But what I was gonna say is, a little bit of gel like kind of blopped over onto the other piece, but because it self-levels, it just kind of mixed in with the rest of it, and it doesn't look any different than it did. And one thing you're gonna see here in just like 1 second is, and this is why I prefer this brand specifically. Okay, so we've been going plenty long here, so I'm gonna set those out of the way. Now this is where you need just a piece of, and honestly, you probably should wear like glasses or something, like dark glasses when doing this, because it does kind of mess with your vision, and I'm sure UV light's not good for your vision. But so what you want to do is essentially pull out, and you can kind of even just from you can see how hard this is to pull out, because it's essentially hardened. The gel coat is hardened onto the cardboard, and that's where the cardboard comes in play. You could even see a little lip. Let me see if I can get that on camera. Yeah, right there. You can see that little lip of plastic and that will easily just kind of snap off. But that would have all been down inside the cube otherwise. So you want to remove every single piece at this point. Dang, this is looking really good. And the fact that it's stuck on there is not an issue. That just means that, you know, you did a good job curing the gel coat. Sorry about taking an extra minute here. Oh man, that looks nice. Okay, so then this is where this differs from every other brand. Every other brand, you would just be done. This is how the end product is. But this is what's so nice about this. You take an alcohol soaked rag or paper towel and simply just go over the layer you did. And it's gonna take any, like, I just touched it with my fingers. It's like, there's all kinds of things, you know, that you essentially wouldn't do on the other brand. But I had just touched it. I had, you know, pulling all those cardboard pieces out. It's like you have so many like chances to mess something up, where this kind of just takes all that out of the equation. So once you've given it a good wipe down with the alcohol, and this is where it really takes out any like lumps, bumps, and imperfections, because any excess is just wiped away. And this is why I recommend this brand. This is it right here, is the wipe off process. Most of them, you would just pull your pieces out and you'd just be done. Okay. We gotta let's get a light on this or something, because this looks unreal. There you go, look at that. Perfect UV coating. I mean, there's seriously hardly a blemish on there. And that took all of, like, you know, the self-leveling, like giving it that 5 to 10 minutes to self-level is probably the longest part of the process. I mean, it took us a couple minutes to paint on the gel coat. Really trying to give you a good look at every piece. You can see I'm not joking around. This really turns out good. And not only is the brand really like friendly as far as user friendly, it's more grippy than any gel coat on any cube I've actually bought before. And that's something that I couldn't believe, honestly. I used my Tornado V3 that I gel coated myself, and it feels, my fingers, like, literally, like, look at it really pulls. I mean, this thing, like, the grip is just amazing. But I hope you guys can see just how nice that turned out. Man. And so that's just one side, and it's just like a lot of things, rinse and repeat type thing. I mean, all we're gonna do now is take our paper towel with alcohol, take the next side you want to work on. And again, I was probably premature to wipe the whole cube off, because you're gonna get fingerprints on the sides that you're working on, or that before you work on it. But essentially, you just want to wipe off each side as you do it. Get it nice and clean. And again, the alcohol is not going to hurt the gel coat you already did. It just kind of refines it. It really makes it extra glassy. I mean, you can go over it multiple times too. You can take alcohol again and go over it. And what alcohol does is it starts to strip it away eventually. But if you think your coat is too thick for any reason, or if you do see a bump that you don't like, you can kind of like take alcohol and kind of rub at that spot or rub at that area or whatever, and you can refine the end product. And not all of them are like that. And so that's why, like I said, this one is extra user-friendly. I'm like super jealous that someone's going to get this, because I think this might be the nicest. I mean, matte cubes, I will say, they receive the UV coating or the gel coating better than any cube. I've done some glossy plastic or semi-glossy plastic ones, and they don't turn out. I mean, they turn out okay, but maybe it's just the drastic difference between the matte and the gloss. But I just, like, looking at the non-finished side, looking at that matte plastic, and then looking at that. Let's see, let's get that shine again. There it is. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do the other 5 sides. I'm not going to drag you through the painful process. But, again, it takes about, 10 to 20 minutes for each side. Like I said, if you give it a full 10 minutes to self-level, then maybe 20 minutes per side. You're looking at, you know, 2 hours or whatever. It's not the end of the world, and you have a very upgraded cube. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's the end of the video, so I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that you guys should know. Again, you want to wipe down the next side, and all you're going to do is set it down. And you can even, now that the gel coat is hardened, it's fine to reuse the pieces because it's cured already. So you can reuse the same cardboard pieces. It's not a problem. But yeah, what you want to do then is just now start inserting them into the next layer, or the next side that you want to gel coat. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to do between every edge and corner, but all of the center pieces, and then you're going to find, like I said, at least this is what I do. I leave one centerpiece, one edge of the centerpiece undone, so that way I can I just brush across those two pieces to get a nice level coating. At the last minute, I just slide a piece in there. That's a personal thing. You do what feels right for you, but that's what works for me. And if I do feel any like sticky, like I can feel a little bit of like what is wet gel coat, because again, at the end of this, you're essentially supposed to wipe off the layer with alcohol. So there's gonna be some residual goo on the cardboard pieces that isn't fully cured, because that's how this stuff works. It kind of leaves that top layer that's not hard. So you will want to, like what I'm doing is just taking each one, just giving it a quick wipe on the paper towel, just to get that off of there. I mean, it's very minimal, but it's one of those things that I'd rather be safe than sorry. It's like I don't want there to be all this gel coat on the inside of the cube, and because I've said this multiple times too, is like the point of this is to improve the quality and performance of the cube. I mean, I get that this may not be, you know, WCA legal and whatnot, and this may not be your competition cube or something, but I still want it to perform like it is. And I mean, the whole reason I did it was because I missed out on UV coating on a cube that I really wanted to use. And so I just want someone to have that same experience where they get to actually have a budget cube, or a cube that's, you know, something they wouldn't expect to have that high-end premium experience, but then because of, you know, little modifications, some magnets and some UV coating, all of a sudden you have what feels like, you know, a really top tier cube. And I don't mind investing a little time and money to doing that, because I feel like that experience is going to be great. Someone's going to open this cube and really love it. So yeah, we're ready for our next side. We have all of our pieces in place. All we need to do is brush it on, self-level for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, go ahead and take your lights, set your timer for a minute, hold it there, or put it under its lamp. I'm actually going to go get the box with the tin foil on the inside to go ahead and put this in for the next project, but for the next layer. But I think that's it for now. If you guys have any other questions, I'll do one more video at the end showing you guys the finished product. But for now, I think that's it. So again, my video editor is probably going to chop my face off over, so I might as well say hi. So peace, everybody, and take care. And like I said, any comments or questions, just leave them below, and you know I'll respond. Peace. Okay. I said the next update I would be when I was done, but I want to show you guys something real quick. So if you can see this little gel coat in between those layers right there, you can see it's already cured and hardened, so you can literally just like take your finger and the fingernail or something, run it right along that edge, and it'll come off clean. I mean, if you ever see any gel coat inside, I mean, hopefully a lot of cubes would be lubed already, so this one's not, obviously, because it's new, but the lube would make it not stick anyways. But on a new cube like this, even with pieces of gel coat, like say that got into the inside that weren't meant to be there, they come right off. Like every piece that I've seen that was inside is now completely clean and gone. So just wanted to give you guys like a quick tip that if you do get it in between the layers, it's not the end of the world. You can absolutely get it out. So don't like freak out or anything, or don't worry. Don't think you ruined it. That's one of the reasons, like I said, you can reuse these cardboard pieces, because pieces will get in there, but they also like chip right out. The stuff on the outside of the cube, that stays and keeps looking nice, but for some reason the stuff on the inside just chips right off. So yeah, just a quick little tip to help you guys out. The next one will be the finished cube. Real quick, you can see the orange side just got finished. Let's see if we can get a sheen on there. There we go. Yep. Gotta polish that piece up a little bit. But yeah, the orange side looks just as good as the yellow side did. So we're on a roll. See you soon. What's up, everyone? So this is the last step. I'm done with the cube, and I just wanted to give you guys the final look at the final step so you can really see how to finish up everything. So if you take a look, this is the box I was talking about, where I just lined it with some aluminum foil just so no matter how you aim it, all sides are getting reflections and are getting extra cure time. It just seems to make sense. It's probably not necessary, but it's something I like to do. So, but this side I've already finished. So the 6th side is already done. Let me set you guys down here. And let me get this box out of your way so you're not looking at a box. Okay, now we have our finished green side. Like all the other sides, we immediately pull all of our cardboard pieces out. If there is anything stuck, here's another example, perfect example of gel coat that may have been extra. Again, just go ahead and chip that right off. Oh, that was perfect. You can see this whole piece just came off the inside and it left the cube. So I still need to wipe it down with alcohol. It's not going to look perfect yet, but has some like fingerprints from me just touching it. But like any little hairs that just got on it from me or anything, that's all going to come off and it's going to look perfect. This is the beauty of the wipe off, is you can make mistakes, you can be imperfect, and your final product will still look nice. All right, all of our cardboard is out. Let's take our paper towel and just put a splash of alcohol. Doesn't need to be a lot. And then now we're just gonna go over this. And to be honest, I'm gonna go over the whole entire cube with an alcohol soaked rag again, because this is part of the curing process for this brand. So as much as it may just seem like you're kind of getting a nice clean, because now you can see how perfect that is just from wiping it off. I mean, look at how nice that came out. That looks so good. And every side. Oh, yeah, got a clinger. But yeah, so if I take this same rag and just go over every side. And like any little flakes of gel coat that might have come from the inside layers that you got out, I mean, that'll all just wipe off. Just, again, keep wiping with your alcohol soaked rag. And it's just going to keep refining it because it's part of the curing process. So as you're doing this, you're actually continuing to help the gel coat continue to harden. And every time you do it, you'll notice it has a little bit less tacky feel to it. Yeah, that's what you don't want. You don't want it to be sticky. You know, you want it to be grippy, but you don't want it to be sticky, and that's the big difference. So here we go. So I do have one little drip right here, but that I can fix. But overall, looks really nice. There's the white side. I mean, every side came out so good. Like I said, it's got a couple drips to fix. But overall, there is our finished product. And as I thought, that little bit of weight, so I did weigh it pre-UV coating to see how much it would change. So the cube started, mid to low 60s. So between adding magnets and UV coating, we've pretty much added at the most 10 to 12 grams. So again, starting at a budget cube weight where it's like 60 something, low 60s, that's actually, you end up right in the mid 70s, which is kind of like the perfect weight for a nice solid 3x3, especially a UV coated 3x3. If you notice, most are in the, low 70s to mid 70s. But yeah, this thing, corner cutting is still there. Like I said, I'm gonna go over it with alcohol soaked rag a bunch more times just to really finish the curing process. And I'm gonna finish those. There's a drip right there, and we have a drip right there, and that's my bad. It's an oversight from this side running over, but again, I can chip that off, and I can either redo that corner or there's easy ways to figure it out. So if I need to, I'll make a video on that too, but I think this is done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in, and this is a perfect time because it's just before the weekend. So why don't we call tomorrow, Friday, the giveaway day. Now that the cube is finished, like I said, I'll go over and do finishing touches tonight and make sure it's all ready. But also, I have one last question for you guys. Leave this in the comments. Would you like me to set this up with lube? Do you want this cube to show up like ready to cube? Because my cube setup or my lube setup is usually taking out one edge piece, putting some angstrom, dignitas, and gravitas on that on the tracks of that piece, and then putting in like some mystic in each of the corners, and maybe like a couple drops of FC Calm or Rush, either one. They're pretty similar to me, but that combination seems to yield really nice plush but not over slowed down results. It keeps your speed up, but gives that nice cushy feeling. So let me know in the comments if you want me to lube it up. I will absolutely do that, and I will send this out as like a ready to go cube, or if you want it where it still feels kind of sandy out of the box and it has all of its brand new UV coating and magnets and all that, just let me know. I'd love to know how you guys want to receive the cube. I appreciate you sticking with me throughout the process and seeing how the whole thing was done. I'm very curious just how this, I'm curious to cube with this thing now that it's, I got to break it in a little bit. I don't want to break it in too much because I want the giveaway winner to do that, but I'm very, very tempted to play with it. I'm a little jealous, to be honest. So, yeah, you guys have a great one, and like I said, the last part of this video will be us just figuring out the exact giveaway process. So I'll see you soon. So this is fixing the bubbles. There was a couple little over drips from coating one side. It just dripped over the edge onto the other side, and then it hardened, and that will happen sometimes. That's my oversight. Every time you do a side, you should really wipe all of the edges around to make sure there's no drips, because those will harden, and that'll mess up if it's on a layer that hasn't been done yet, it's not such a big deal, but if it's on a layer that's already been done, it's going to mess up a good piece. So that I messed up 2 solid pieces. So what I did was I went back, I just scraped the UV coating off with like a flathead screwdriver, and then just simply redid that one single piece. I mean, if you it actually comes off. Once you get it coming off, it kind of peels off like dead skin or something. I know it's gross, but just like anything, like a banana peel, just peels right off, and that whole piece will become and now ready to redo. So that's what I did, and that's what I'm finishing right now. This thing is literally done. I'm just putting the last finishing touches on it. I thought I was done, and then I found those 2 drips. So yeah, but let's see here. What else can we go over? I just want to make sure I had a lot of questions on UV coating, even though I've done some videos. So I want to make sure I went through the whole process. So first, you're going to make sure you have your UV coating, your gel coat. You're going to have alcohol, paper towels. You need a light for curing, whether it's this light or a nail lamp, doesn't matter. I have no stake in that, so whatever you want to use. But then you're going to wipe down the side you want to clean or what you want to coat, clean it nice and good, get it nice and sterile. Insert your cardboard pieces that you're going to need to cut previous. I use some just off of like a box from like a pizza box, something like that, like really thin cardboard. That's all that matters. But so then you insert all your pieces. You're going to go ahead and coat that one side, let it sit for 10 minutes is even a long time. I found I was using my timer, even after 5 minutes, it's pretty much ready. So you can see it. Once the coating the coating that you did looks level and looks flat, and it's to your liking. So if you think it's ready, go ahead and pop it under the light. So once you've self-leveled that side, you're going to go ahead and do this process, which this is your light. I just set a timer on my phone for like 2 minutes and just let it sit here, because 2 minutes is 4 times the amount of the time that it says on the bottle. So I know I'm plenty cured And I'm one of those people where if it doesn't hurt, I'm always going to do a little more because, you know, why not be on the safe side? So yeah, then once you're done curing your cube, we're at this point right now. So what we're going to do is the last process or point where we're going to actually be wiping down the cube. So now we're going to take a paper towel like we have been. Oh, first remove your cardboard. Jeez, that's really in there. And then the very, very last thing too, so again, we're gonna put a little bit of alcohol on there. Just go over it. And this is like I was saying in my other part of my video, you can redo all the sides. It just keeps curing and it takes off like the most micro or minute, sorry, I mixed the two words, minute amount off, and it actually does continue the curing process. So not only is it going to make this more glassy and hard and take away any tackiness or like stickiness, but it's also going to make sure it's level, make sure there's any imperfections are taken off. Yeah, this really, like, I'll go over this cube probably another 5 to 10 more times just like this, because it just doesn't do anything bad to it at all. It's just making sure that it's nice and all of the any residue is all off, making sure that it's, you know, looking really good. And I'll show you the spots where I had made a mistake and then fixed it, so you can see. I'm going to be very transparent about exactly, you know, how I feel about this cube and how I think it's probably my best UV coating to this date. So I'm a little bummed to be giving it away, but that's the deal. That's the giveaway. So here we are, everyone. So there's this yellow side also just had 2 pieces with drips on it. I don't know if you can tell. If you can find the piece, leave it in the comments. But there were 2 pieces on here that had drips that I had to redo. I dare you to find them. And then here's red. Red was the same way. There was 1 drip on this side that I had to fix. Let's see, blue. Sorry, there's some fingerprints on there that are bugging me because it looks so nice. It should look as good as it should. Let's see, white. White came out really good. I don't know why, but I feel like white always comes out really nice when I do it. Maybe I just like the way white looks, but let's see, green, orange, blue, red, white, and yellow. So I am at the point where I cannot see a single imperfection. I would say this is the best UV coating job I've ever done. I'm not just saying that because this is a giveaway. Again, I almost wish it wasn't, because then I'd be keeping it, but someone's going to be really happy with this. This really looks like you got this coated from the factory. Like I said, dare you to find an imperfection in this thing. But yeah, if there's any other questions or comments on UV coating, let me know. Tomorrow is going to be the day where I'm actually going to pick our giveaway winner. So now we have our finished cube. We have our Maylong. Let's do one last analysis. It's now magnetized with strong magnets from the cubicle. It is now a total, man, this came out a beautiful weight, 75 grams. So it's right in the sweet spot, right in the middle. It's not 65, it's not 85, 75 grams. This couldn't have been any better, honestly. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Let's try our corner cutting. So even that, like, I always notice a few days after I finish the gel coating process, the performance even increases more, because any little maybe pieces of gel coat you might have missed or whatever, they all flake out of there because it's hardened and it's in a small quantity. So it's using the cube itself is just going to shake all that out of there. But I've already personally went through each level and inspected it. And so yeah, I think this thing's ready. Congratulations to whoever wins it, and I'm really excited for your feedback. This is one that, if you win, hopefully you'll contact me and let me know what you think of it, because this is 100% my blood, sweat, and tears put into this, and money. But yeah, it's for you guys. I want to engage with my audience, and I want to give people a reason to show up, especially as I get, further in my cubing career. I want to have more, knowledge and like algorithm education to offer and whatnot. And I'm about in the 1.5 2 year mark in cubing, so I'm just getting there. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me through the process. I know this video is going to be a long video, but thank you to everyone again. Check it out. God, it looks good. So lastly, I will say, because this is the only brand I've ever had good success with, I bought other brands that other people recommended and had bad time. This was the only one that goes on quasi thin. Every other one, I will say, they can turn out nice, but they go on so thick and add so much weight. I mean, the Maru Labs guy, he does a whole tutorial on this, and he was one of the first people I watched, and he used a no wipe, very thick gel coat, and it looked pretty, but you could see on the pieces how bubbly they were because it went on so thick. And this is the only one that I've seen. I mean, I'm sure there's other wipe off brands, but this is the one that I know, but it's the only one that lets you wipe off that excess, so you actually have a flat cube at the end. It's not all bubbled or pillowed or whatever you want to call it, but it's actually flat. So yeah, I'm so glad that we had success. I'm glad it's done too, so we can send it out and hear what someone thinks about it. But it's a great cube. Yeah, 75 gram Maylong magnetic UV coated. I don't know, I've never heard of one, so if anyone else has ever heard of a UV coated Maylong, let me know. But otherwise, like, subscribe, and comment, especially if you haven't liked and subscribed yet. I really appreciate the channel growth. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers now, eventually 1,000, and the moon. But right now, I'm just worried about engaging with people, and I really want to keep everyone stoked, and like I said, everyone really excited about cubing. I mean, I found cubing and just fell in love, and I want to keep that passion in everyone else. So thanks again, and peace, everyone.